This episode is brought to you by Peloton. Break through the busiest time of year with the brand new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. With real-time guidance and endless ways to move, you can personalize your workouts and train with confidence, helping you reach your goals in less time. Let yourself run, lift, sculpt, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus at onepeloton.com.
This episode is brought to you by FX's Love Story, John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette. Join host Evan Ross Katz on the official podcast for FX's new series, Love Story, John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette, and go behind the scenes with cast and special guests, featuring Sarah Pigeon, Paul Anthony Kelly, Grace Gummer, and Naomi Watts. FX's Love Story, John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast.
Hello. Hi.
Welcome to the General Hospital recap for February 9th through 13th, Friday the 13th, 2026. And we're getting two of them in a row because, as we all know how the calendar works, February and March often have the same days of the week, unless it's a leap year.
Yes.
So next month we also get a Friday the 13th. Yay, us.
And that one won't be as exciting because it won't be the day before Valentine's Day. I feel like this one was like, if you want to be spooky or you want to be in love, there's a day for you.
Okay. I did not hear it that way.
Oh, you haven't seen like all the like Freddy Krueger, but with hearts and whatever?
No.
Oh my gosh, there's 1,000 things. So
I've been really off of stuff. I've been really off this week, but I've also been really off of stuff this week too. So
well, that's good. But
it is, but like at the same time, I kind of feel like this week was a blur and kind of like one of those bubble weeks that you're just like, I know I did stuff, but
yeah.
When and how? Not a clue. So we do have a few Port Charles pipeline. Oh, do we want to do our big announcement? When do we want to do that?
I just assumed you were doing that at the end, but you can do it now.
You want me to do it at the end?
You can do it whenever you want.
We don't know. Is that a pipeline or is that a reality check?
I will let you decide.
Quit making me make the decisions.
You have had a crappy week. It's your prize for having a crappy week.
My prize
Yes.
for having a crappy week.
For surviving the week. It's your bonus.
Okay, I'm going to do it as a pipeline because I feel like it is reality check, but it's actually more show-ish related.
Okay.
I think. And if you don't like this announcement now, think that you're hearing it at the end. Amanda and I signed our first contract with a podcast network. Yay! So we are now part of the Coulter Podcast Network. It's COLTURE Podcast Network. It's like Couture, but like Coulter. So
it's fancy. It's very fancy.
But I don't know why. Like, this is just one of those things. One of their shows is the That Was Us show by Mandy Moore, Sterling K. Brown, and Chris. I always forget his name. Sullivan, right? Sullivan?
I believe that you're right, but I would not swear to it.
Okay. But they were on This Is Us, and they do like the rewatch show and everything. So I think it's pretty cool that we are now on the same network as Mandy Moore.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was like meant to be because that show was based in Pittsburgh.
Well, that too. That too. Yes, we can. Yes, I mean, that is exactly what I was saying.
It was a sign. Hello.
Yes. But no, super, super excited. This has kind of been in the works for not that long, but at the same time, it was very much fate.
Right. That's kind of. We've been open to it. We just needed to find the right fit and we needed to get our numbers where they needed to be. So thanks to all of our listeners for getting us there because that's part of the game too.
And we met the right people to make the right introductions and it worked.
Yep.
Yay! So super excited to be a part of. Oh, we have a bigger family now above us.
We do.
Don't worry. Okay, so here's the deal. The number one reason why we signed with them is everything stays the same. It's our decision. It's our show.
Mm-hmm.
All of the intellectual property is ours. The decisions that we make going into the show, I mean, obviously we still have to be consistent, but after 700 something episodes and we've never missed a Monday, I feel like we're solid.
I would say so.
You know, we've always figured out a way to make it work, even if I don't think we've even had like a super short, other than COVID, when we had like one new episode a week.
Right.
Or the couple weeks that we didn't have any new episodes. But, you know, even through, you know, cheer and dance competitions and traveling and stuff, you know, we've figured it out. So yay.
Yes, I'm excited.
Super, super, super excited. I kind of forgot that was this week.
Mm-hmm. Right?
That's how my week's been.
It feels like Monday was so long ago, but that was when it was official.
Seriously, on Wednesday, I was talking like it was Friday, and I was talking to a friend, and they're like, it's Wednesday. Like, it was Wednesday afternoon. And I was like, oh, crap. Like, I can't do this for another 2 days.
Right.
So, yeah. So that's our big announcement. We do have 2. Okay, this one actually is in the show, too. God, Sherry, love you. By the way, just throwing that out there. How can I make this? Okay. We got a diagram.
Oh, my.
Although I think that hold on. Let me actually read the email.
That would be helpful.
Hold it.
She making a murder board.
No, but she definitely made us a graphic. On part 2 of the fan spotlight with Kim, you guys were talking about Danny and Charlotte. You guys said they're not related, and that's like Dante and Sam. I don't remember us saying they're not related. I just felt like it was not like where Dante and Sam shared a sister was so much closer than, but I mean, we absolutely might have said they're not related. But it's not. They really are blood related. Danny's great grandpa was Mikos Cassadine, and Charlotte's grandpa was Victor Cassadine. I've attached a photo that shows the family tree, and I really, honest to goodness, think she made this herself.
Oh, that's awesome.
It is a tree.
That's beautiful.
I love it. But also we heard someone go over that this week that we're going to get into. So I love that too. I feel like that was like one of those more in the moment we were talking about it and we're like, yeah, but.
Right. Aren't they? Because we were confused about who Victor's dad was for a while, and it's hard to remember, or who Valentin's dad was for a while. See, I don't even know who I'm talking about, even though I do. So it's hard to go back and remember how it all played out. But yes, they are
also
related.
All the connections. Like, no, when you can talk to your lover about, hey, our brother and our sister.
Oh, that's so gross. Please stop.
Right. Like, that's a little weird.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You know, Danny and Charlotte can be like, okay, so your great-great-grandfather and my great-great-great-grandfather, you know, I'm not saying that it's necessarily okay, but I'm just saying in the grand scheme of things, between the two.
I mean, it seemed like this week their parental figures were saying it was okay, so.
Oh, see, okay, so we'll have to get into that because I don't feel that way.
Okay.
I feel like they were like, are you okay? Like, maybe not.
Okay. We'll get there.
Okay. So then we have an email from Kim. Bezonstead.
Thank you, Kim.
Hi, my favorite GH friends. She's wrong, but it's okay. Had a laugh this morning listening to Stephen Bradford's podcast from last week, and I did not listen to it. They were trying to figure out what exactly cold fusion is when Steve repeatedly asserted Bezonstead made me think of you guys. I was a little nervous about listening to myself on the fan podcast. Oh, honey. But I almost forgot it was me because the conversation was so much fun.
Aw.
I really recommend listeners go to your website and sign up to do it too. So much has been happening on the show. I don't know what I'd do without your podcast. Oh, you're such a sweetheart. Especially as we count down to the return of Maxie. Hope she's ready and rested because I hope she's rested too.
Right.
Because she's going to have a lot of foolishness to sort out when she gets home. Love you all, Kim.
Oh, thanks, Kim.
So cold fusion is a hypothesized type of nuclear reaction that would occur at or near room temperature.
Okay, every time they say it, I think of cold foam on your coffee. So we're making some new coffee flavors. That's where I'm at.
I don't think that ever occurred to me. I just knew it was like super sciencey. I figured it was like super sciencey and nuclear.
I mean, you're probably right, but every time they say it, that's what I think. And we had joked last week whenever we were doing the Faison with JD, that we should have made that into a drinking game, but I feel like we should have made it into a drinking game for this week because no one could just say Faison or Cesar. Everyone had to say Cesar Faison. And I was like,
Yep.
stop saying his name.
It's like Beetlejuice.
Right? Like,
Oh my gosh. Oh,
oh no, I'm scared. Go ahead.
think of Beetlejuice and the hair.
They're cousins.
And think of Faison and the hair. Okay, no, but think about Doc Brown.
Yeah.
And what do we call my father-in-law?
Right. That's what your husband's going to end up looking
My
like.
kids literally call my father-in-law Doc because the first time we watched Back to the Future, they asked what he was doing in the movie. And then ever since then, so my father-in-law looks like Christopher Lloyd, guys.
Yes, he does.
I mean, seriously, I could picture. Yeah. I wonder if, no, I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I don't think it has to do with the look. I mean, JD loves his dad,
Yeah.
but I don't think that really has anything to do with it. But
I don't either, but that's funny.
my father-in-law has never had that kind of hair. Just throwing that out there. Okay, so a little bit more details about cold fusion. The mechanism is attempts to initiate nuclear fusion at or near room temperature, often hypothesized to use metal lattices like palladium to catalyze the reaction. The status is largely unproven. 1989 claims were not widely replicated.
Oh, okay.
So that would have been
the right timing, yeah.
Because he was in 1990.
Mm-hmm.
And the challenge is lack of a consistent, repeatable scientific model.
Okay.
I don't understand anything I just read.
Me neither. But I'm glad that Britt does. That's all that matters.
If you understand cold fusion, can you please write to us like we're 5?
I was going to say, we'll need a flow chart because I don't understand.
Yes. Dear Sherry, please give us a flow chart of... No, you stick with our genealogy, girl. I love you. Thank you. That is it for any Port Charles pipeline emails or anything. Do you have anything that I don't think I saw anything?
Address the sad news of the week that's not really soap opera related, but anyone who loves GH, I feel like also loved Dawson.
Yeah, you can.
I'm sorry. I just feel like we're all sad together that it was announced that James Vanderbeek had passed away 48 because of cancer. And I feel like the same as whenever some of our GH castmates pass, like I've lost a part of my, not even childhood, because I thought I was an adult. It was senior year for me. I thought I was an adult. But I remember that starting as senior year started, and like those conversations that they had were so deep and so grown up, and we were all so sophisticated.
But remember, I only just watched it for the first time ever.
Oh, that's true. Well, I don't know why you didn't choose to watch it then. It was a great show, as you saw whenever you rewatched it a few months ago. And I'm glad that I rewatched it a few months before you because it just, brought back all the feels. But anyway.
It's just that. I mean, it's the same thing as, like, I was explaining to someone today about how, because talking about Kristen Rogers and how, I forget how we got on the conversation, but I was saying something about how Kristen came up instead of Luke, and I don't remember how. Doesn't really matter, but it was, no, you have to understand, like, this person's been in my life since I was 13.
Right.
Even though they were on TV, you know, and he's always been Robert Scorpio.
Right.
It's not like you watched him in 50 different movies between now and then. It's like, no, that's Robert Scorpio. That's it.
Right.
And he was in other things.
Oh, absolutely.
We watched him in other things, but
there's certain characters that are just them forever.
Right. But especially where he was still playing him.
Right.
So I guess now we'll bounce back to fun stuff with
Go ahead.
411. Part 2 of Cesar Faison. As we mentioned at the end of last week's 411, poor JD. I did not do him any. I wrote for us.
We're going to spice it up a little bit for the second part to get us in it too. So he is not left with reading paragraphs upon paragraphs, and it's going to be great. So
it is. Because that's the thing, is that like we feed off each other, and God, if you go back and listen to our first couple episodes,
Don't do that. Keep moving forward.
For those of you that tell us you find our show now and go back and listen to our entire catalog and still listen to us, God bless you.
Right.
We weren't that bad, but we were just finding our footing and figure like this is not something he does every single week. And we had a really difficult weekend. So yeah. And to be fair,
we're good.
We are.
Hulu headlines. What did we have this week? Do they spoil anything for us?
On Monday, Emma delivers bad news. Jason is alarmed. Jocelyn is taken aback. Dante receives an offer, and Brennan is skeptical. On Tuesday, Carly makes Valentin an offer. Danny gets creative. Alexis tips off Jason. Okay, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Tracy offers Cody a fresh perspective. Can we get back to how much I love Tracy?
Yes.
Lucy wants payback. Does Lucy think that Sidwell's a vampire? On Wednesday, Sunny offers strategic advice. Karina questions Joss. Jason issues a warning. Lucas gets a shock. Charlotte gets food for a thought. On Thursday, Maxie returns.
Oh, there it was.
Maxie returns. Nathan seeks out Lulu. It is the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, guys. Nathan seeks out Lulu. Portia delivers big news. Brooklyn counsels Gio. Why do I feel like it was more? Oh, I guess she did. I was going to say, I feel like Gio counseled her, but no, she did. She did.
They were there for each other.
They were. Jordan and Curtis discuss their future. And then on Friday the 13th, Felicia and Spinelli make a big decision. Brooklyn doesn't hold back. Nathan shocks Britt. Lucas opens up to Elizabeth, who is dressed way too inappropriately. What? Why is that written there? And Michael plans a date for Jacinda. And I don't mean inappropriately, but that is not the outfit that you wear for anyone but Lucky. There was too much lace involved. There was too much lace.
Oh my goodness.
It was black, sexy lace. No.
I agree with you because I don't like Rick, but it was Valentine's Day.
Still, if you're trying to not get back together with your ex-husband,
I don't know that she's not trying to get back together with him because of that reaction that she had with Lucas. She was telling him what she was doing.
All right, let's just go there. How do we get there?
How do we get there? You're so mad. And then I feel like Liz was a one-off on her own. So
let's just put it this way, though. She was gorgeous, though.
Oh, she's always gorgeous. She could wear a brown paper bag and she would still look beautiful. But yeah, she's in the break room getting ready, and he walks in and tells her how beautiful she looks, and she says without missing a beat, "Oh yeah, I'm going out to dinner with Rick." And he's like, "Oh, that's nice." And she stops him and is like, "Wait, what's wrong with you? Because I'm waiting for you to like try to hook me up with somebody else or tell me to cancel plans or what's going on." And he's like, "No, you have a date. Just go. I'll talk to you later." And she says, "No, you sat with me during the nurses' ball and we're best friends. You have to tell me everything." And so he goes ahead and discloses to her that earlier in the week, Carly had come and tried to make amends, and he believes that she is sincere, and that was all that was about. And he had been sticking up for Marco and giving her such a hard time. And then after she left, he overheard Marco and his dad talking about how they were making people do stuff that they didn't want to do, and how Lucas couldn't be part of what was going on, and they needed to be careful, and all of this shady stuff. And now he realizes Marcus is not the guy that he thought that he was.
And he specifically overheard that they were blackmailing Britt by withholding her medication.
Right.
Which we know that he doesn't necessarily care for Britt, but I think that...
I mean, especially as a healthcare professional.
Right. He probably could have handled just overhearing some questionable, like, what the heck are they talking about? Okay, I just don't know what they're talking about. But when they said... Britt's a liability. We have her under control. She's going to finish our project because we're withholding her medication. He stepped back, and then Pascal saw him, and he had just confronted Pascal about, "So what's your problem with me? Are you jealous?" And I even said that a couple weeks ago. I was like, I think Pascal is jealous, but I mean, he didn't answer it. So we're still trying to figure out what the heck is with Pascal. But like, oh, poor Lucas.
Yeah. I'm beginning to think that Pascal is more of a bad guy than I thought that he was. I thought that he really did just work for them, and I'm starting to think that he's way more of the process than what I originally thought. And that's what his issue is with Lucas, is he really doesn't want Lucas throwing a monkey wrench into the middle of all of this and them not being able to finish their project and get the results that they need. And so he just wants Lucas gone, and he knows that Marco is, a little bit younger and a little bit more naive, even though he is mature in his business doings and the sketchiness of all that. When it comes to love, it seems like he doesn't have a ton of experience, and so he's afraid that that's going to play into it.
Okay.
He just seems a little extra invested, and as much as Sidwell was threatening to send him away if he couldn't keep himself how he needs to be, it didn't seem like Sidwell had the ultimate authority over him the way that I thought that he did before. It was kind of like, I don't know. I guess I'm happy that I don't have staff, but at the same time, wish I had the type of money I would have staff, would be able to employ staff. But I feel like if you have staff, you get to say, like, you're done here because what you did is wrong, or you're not following the rules, out, and there's no discussion about it. Where, as it seemed like whenever they were talking this week, it was more of, we would need to have a conversation if you can't stay in your lane.
Maybe it's just because of everything he knows, though.
That could be.
That he's like Sidwell is in charge, but he has to tread carefully, because if he makes Pascal too mad, Pascal's like, I can just go to XYZ. And you know what? For a second, I thought he was saying that the mental health facility was theirs.
Oh,
there was a split second, like when they were talking, when he was telling Sidwell like what happened, but it wasn't.
No.
But there was a second I totally thought that Sidwell was going to throw him off the parapet. And then I went, but wait a second, is there a parapet anymore? We don't know, because now it's just like a blank white block building. However, when Lucy was leaving, it still had the Gothic exterior. So what?
And when Marco was making that phone call and Lucas walked out, so we see Liz, and
he was on the parapet.
Yes, exactly. We see Liz and him continuing to talk, and Liz says to him, listen, I know you guys are in love, and I'm not trying to like downplay that, but it's not safe for you to live there. Now you have heard all this. Sidwell was dangerous whenever he was holding Lucky captive. He's certainly still dangerous. And now you know this information. You cannot live there anymore. You need to go home, pack up your stuff, and leave. And so then we see Lucas on the parapet with Marco. So there is still a parapet. Because I was scared for a second. Like, watch what you say here, Lucas. Get back inside before you start this confrontation, because I don't want you to end up splat.
Oh, but what if... Well, here's the thing. The reason why Sidwell was saying that he would send him away is because if he got in the way of Marco, and Lucas.
Right.
And he's like, no, like, let it go. You handle the Anna stuff. Stay out of my son's life.
He did. And they did say that they were going to leave Anna alone now, because Pascal said, do you want me to still check on her and like get information? And he was like, no, she thinks that she made an escape and she's getting mental health services there, even though they have no idea what they're really dealing with. So just leave her stay there, and her family can deal with her now.
That's why I was thinking that it might be under their control, because they know, quote unquote, know that they're not going to really let her go.
I thought you were going to say they know because they made a phone call and got information, because what the heck was up with Valentin? Just placed a phone call, spoke some French, and they're giving all her HIPAA information away.
I took honors French in high school, and I am at, hold please, level 67, 1,508 days of Duolingo. I am not calling a French hospital and pretending to be somebody's family and getting information.
Exactly.
If you're on Duolingo and want to be my friend, send me an email.
I mean, I do know that Valentin...
You don't have to be learning French. You just have to be on the app.
Just on the app. Oh, good to know. Yeah. I do know that Valentin is a little more worldly than we are, so his French is a little bit better. But is there not HIPAA in France? Like, there's no rules at all? You can just call? I'm surprised you have not Googled this before. This is shocking to me.
There's a lot of things I have not Googled.
Wow.
No, HIPAA is a U.S. federal law, not a French law. France protects health data through strict European regulations and local laws, specifically
Okay.
the French Data Protection Act and HDS accreditation for hosting, which are mandatory for health data. HIPAA only applies if a French entity handles a U.S. patient data. So yes, it should apply.
Boom.
But she's British.
She is, but she's a U.S. citizen.
Is she?
I'm assuming. I don't
I
know.
would assume so too.
Either way, no matter what document it's under, whether it's United States, France, whatever, there is a document to protect information. So I'm not sure how he just gets to call and be like, oh, hey, I'm her brother, uncle, nephew. Here you go. Can I have information? And they're like, sure, here's what's going on. She had a mental break.
It was not even that. It was, hi, I know French.
He said he pretended to be her family.
Yeah, but
Right.
she didn't say, like, I had to talk about our mom or anything like that.
Right.
Like, there was no proof.
Nope. No proof.
So
he knew to call there because I got ahead of myself because
he did not have beautiful Sherry's flow chart.
He did not. He did not. He should need that as proof.
Just carry it in your wallet. That's what these characters need to start doing. They need to start carrying their genealogy. Every single one of them needs to download whichever one of the ancestry things is still legally not in trouble. Or just even a simple spreadsheet and document yourself. That way, when you're meeting someone, you can be like, excuse me, do we have anyone in common?
Before I buy you this coffee, are we related? Because
Right.
I don't want to kiss you.
Right.
No. Valentin.
And laminate that card.
Valentin knew that Anna was in trouble because Cullum had the nerve to show up at Carly's unannounced, telling her how she needs to back away from Brennan because she's distracting him. And she's like, seems to me that he's pretty invested because he's not spending all his time with me. Is there something specific that you're worried about? And of course he's like, well, I can't share that information with you, but you just need to, let him focus on his work. And she's like, okay, I'm pretty sure he's a grown man. So if he needs help delegating, someone can help him with that, but that's not my place. Thanks. And then she calls Valentin down for a drink together and tells him.
He tells her about Anna.
Yes.
He can't say anything about Brennan, but he can say. So do you think Cullum's playing her? Do you think that he knows that that she's been in contact with Valentin, and that's why he dropped the info about Anna?
I don't know, because I don't know how he would know that.
I don't either, but he just seems.
I mean, it was definitely fishy that he went over there and was sharing anything.
Yeah, but he wouldn't share anything about Brennan, which is supposedly what he was there for. And they're supposed to be in love. And if you're telling, like, if I'm going to Ryan about something with you, I'm not going to be like, oh, yeah, but I'm not really going to tell you about that. But here's the deal with Matt.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, what's that have to do with Amanda? I mean, this is a horrible example just because, of course, it would have to do with you because it's your son. But you know what I mean? Like,
like it doesn't go together.
You're there for one thing, and then it's, but let me just drop this little bit of information for you.
But I also feel like Cullum could feel like he could give that information because it was all around Port Charles already. Like there's not a person in Port Charles who didn't already know, because Felicia and them came back. All of the PCPD knew because they had to tell Dante. They told Laura, right? They had told.
Okay. Yeah.
So it wasn't really classified information. He's just, I'm sure you've heard about Anna. Oh, you didn't? Okay, I'll tell you. She's lost it. So then she called Valentin down and was like, so Cullum's telling me that I'm taking Brennan away from important work of finding you and that Anna had a break. And so then he just calls and gets whatever information he wants because that's how it works. Super annoying. And then I didn't understand, I understand their plan, but I don't get what they think they're going to accomplish. Valentin says, I'm going to go to Wyndemere and I'm going to find out all this stuff. And she's like, no, you can't do that because then your cover will be blown. I'll go and say that I want to talk to Lucas and then that'll be a good cover. And I'm going to find out all this information. And he's talking about, getting down into the cellar and seeing where different things are because you can talk about wine.
By that.
And I'm like, I'm sorry, have you guys met Sidwell before? Because he's not inviting you in and 5 minutes in being like, oh, would you like to take a tour of my wine cellar? Like, especially
Well,
if he has
she
something to hide.
could. She'll ask for his advice on like what to carry at the Metro Court. But exactly, you think he's not going to send Pascal downstairs to go get a couple bottles and be like, well, these are my favorites.
Right. Or if he doesn't, then there's nothing in that section of the house. Like, I'll take you to my basement. That's not where my dead body's hidden, but I'm not going to take you to the attic because that's where they are. Like, but my point being that Sidwell's not stupid. So he's not going to take you to the dead bodies, Carly. He's going to take you where it's safe. And that doesn't mean that they
And
don't
there's probably
exist.
so many bodies in the catacombs. How are you going to know who's belonged to who?
Right. Like, that's not mine. That was the previous owners. They just didn't take them with them. I think it's more the idea that I would imagine that when you're using a catacomb for what you're supposed to use it for, that there's like something that's covering the dead body. Like they're like cemented in or something, not just skulls laying on the ground.
No, no,
No?
they're layered like bricks.
Oh, well, that's gross. Okay.
I think, aren't they? Isn't it? See, you ask these questions. I'm the one who Googles and I'm going to get in trouble.
All
Yeah.
part of my master plan. I'm not going to jail for it.
Okay, so the Paris catacombs were built in mid 1780s by transforming a pre-existing unstable of network of underground limestone quarries into massive ossuary to solve severe public health issues caused by overflowing graveyards. Workers reinforced the tunnels, transported millions of bones, and arranged them into decorative walls and pillars.
Well, that's I mean, I guess I was envisioning somewhere in the middle because I don't imagine them just like laying there stacked up. I imagine them put somehow pretty, but yeah, I guess you're still seeing the bones, which is gross. So,
Yeah, it's like a line of skulls and then
yeah.
like a line of cheekbone. Oh, cheekbones are part of the skull. A line of hips.
How would you decorate your catacombs?
The neck bone's connected
my
to
God.
what's the hip bone's
Just
connected to
stop. Just stop. But
the
Valentin
shoulder's
did
connected to the arm bone.
Valentin did remember to tell her that the access point in the living room had been removed, so she would have to find a different one.
Right.
So even more so that you're not just wandering around finding it, because if it's in the living room, you maybe could like bump into the mantle and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to open that door to the catacombs. But if it's somewhere else, you're not finding it. So the whole thing was
Yeah.
just stupid. So thanks, Marco, for forgiving Carly for being a jerk, but really you're the one that needs forgiveness because you're lying, just like we all knew that you were. So let Lucius move out.
I actually believed her apology. I think she was actually sincere. I don't
think
think it was completely for show. I think it was for Lucas, but I don't think it was for show. I think it was genuine for her brother,
I agree.
but she wasn't happy about doing it, but she was doing it for her brother. I do think that was legit when she first started. I don't think it was necessarily genuine, but when Lucas said that he would not forgive her, I think she realized,
Yes.
oh shoot, I need to actually mean it. And I truly, truly do. The second when she talked to Marco, I do believe she meant everything she said.
I agree. She meant it, but it was for Lucas.
Yes. Oh, but Lucas bossed around Pascal then too. Because he was like, excuse me, Pascal, you need to get out of here because we need to have a moment.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. How many times has he said that he lived there?
Right.
No one makes sure that the door's closed.
Mm-hmm. I just so sloppy. Come on.
Yeah, it's not even like it almost closed.
No.
And
That
he was
a nice
facing the
opening.
door.
Yeah. And it's not like it was a bedroom or like they had gone upstairs to that room that's off
Right.
the parapet. Like, okay, we didn't hear him come in. You should have heard the front door.
Right.
So ridiculous. But the fact that Pascal saw him is concerning.
Yes. So do you think that Pascal is going to see Lucas talking to Marco on the parapet and Lucas is going to go over the parapet and he's going to say that Lucas was going after Marco?
I really hope not, because I don't want Lucas to go over the parapets.
Because don't they have cameras though? Isn't that something that Sidwell said he installed? So he'll see that Lucas came back and Pascal will totally be able to get away with lying about it and be like, yeah, he overheard. And then he went and confronted Marco and he was going to attack Marco. And so I saved Marco.
I can see him saying that, but I'm just hoping that Lucas gets inside before that happens.
Sidwell totally was. I think he was believing Carly. I think that
I think so too.
He was taking 100% credit for, haha, yeah, I got back together, you know?
Oh, he absolutely was taking the credit for it and believed her, but that doesn't mean that, well, I wouldn't think, I don't know, I guess like we just said, he did keep the door open, but on a normal person, that doesn't mean that they would then trust her with all of their secrets.
Right.
So I don't know. I really didn't like him this week, though. All of the stuff with Lucy and the way that he talked to her and then turning it into, it reminded me of the other week whenever we talked about Ezra trying to take Jacinda and Christina to dinner. Like, ew, you're gross.
Yeah.
I don't know who you think you are, but you are not entitled to be entertaining two women at the same time. That's gross.
Well, because Lucy walked in on Ava and Sidwell, and Ava was talking about and I took this note just because she was talking about the magnificent exterior of Wyndemere. So why did they show us that picture? Like, seriously, please, you could write to us anonymously. There are ways, if you just Google like fake email addresses, you can send an email. I sign up for stuff using them to be able to get like access into. You know how it says, like, give me your email to be able to access this page? And I'm like, I'm not giving you my real email. There are, like, shell email generator thingies that you can make. Anyway, send us an email through that and just let us know, what were you thinking? Whose idea was it? Or are they still employed?
Right? How are we working this
show?
How are we working that concept into what we're seeing now? Because they are not the same building still.
Just blame the intern. Just say, listen, this intern didn't know what they were doing.
That is not nice. You're going to deprive us of a very important piece of Hollywood because you're getting this person fired when they didn't even do anything wrong.
Interns aren't employees.
But they're hoping to be employees. That's why they intern.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're going to get in trouble as an intern, then they're never going to get hired.
No, they're not going to get... Okay. Mm-hmm. I am sorry if the intern does not make it in Hollywood because of Wyndemere.
Exactly. It's all your fault.
It's not, because they're probably already gone.
Oh, man. Yeah. She's going on and on about how beautiful everything in Wyndemere is and why it needs decorated with these paintings that cost ridiculous amounts of money, and all you can picture is that building.
Bickering, and Ava's like, Lucy, the only thing you know about collecting is husbands. And then Lucy calls her out on her rap sheet, and she's like, Jenz is perfectly well aware of it. And she said something about, I better not go stand too close to the parapet because of what you did to Christina. And then Lucy gives Jenz like an ultimatum, and she's like, you might want to like, look into Ava's background. And he's like, yeah, I did my homework on Ava, just like I did it on you. And you got a second chance. So why can't Ava? And so Lucy winds up leaving.
She says, like, it's me or Ava. And he says, I do not do with ultimatums. And then she leaves and they both end up at the nail salon.
Well, she asks, he's like, don't you want your basket? And she's like, no, you're going to go hungry because Ava always wants people or leaves people wanting. And she leaves and says that he's going to regret it. And then she goes to get a manicure and pedicure and massage, and she's going to get her little facial thing on. And then suddenly Ava comes in and she has the same idea. And she's all surprised that she's there because she's like, oh, I thought you and Jenz were having a picnic. And she's like, nope, I left the basket there with my relationship. And they're literally like sitting there just like still going at it with each other. And Lucy's giving Ava crap about basically earning commission. And she's like, yeah, sure, Miss Real Estate. How much did you make off of Wyndemere? And Ava's like, he just wanted to upgrade. Like, art is such a exclusive, like whatever. Mm-hmm. And he wanted an upgrade. And so he got it. And it was obvious to everyone but Lucy that, because what did she say? Like, oh, he saw through her Luciness. Mm-hmm. And she like wore out her welcome. And then Lucy gets all flustered. She didn't even use a towel to dry off her feet.
She just grabs her shoes.
She grabs her shoes and tells, so three things now. No towel, no drying off the shoes, or drying off the feet before putting them in the shoes, and probably the expensive shoes. As Lucy's leaving, she tells Ava Jen's love of old things only extends to Greek statues, not his vendors, and then she left without paying.
Yep, exactly. Even if they would have been like, you're a regular and so you don't have to pay for the service, you needed to tip that girl for the fact she was already touching your feet.
Right. Say, hey, Tammy, can I Venmo you?
Yeah.
Or come up with some ridiculous name for whatever Venmo is. Okay. Lynn Herring is stunning.
Yes.
Lynn Herring is 67.
It's so ridiculous.
Mara West is 53.
Wow.
Ava is 51. Lucy's age is not on fandom. However, Kevin is 67. Felicia doesn't have an age, but Christina Wagner is 63. Mac is listed as 63. So it's reasonable to assume that Lucy is somewhere between 60 and 67, let's say, which is still considerably older than Ava.
Yes.
So the point of Lucy saying that was what?
Right.
It's the same intern that gave us the Wyndemere picture.
You're going to get this poor kid fired. Stop it.
Just saying. It would have been...
Then, yeah. But then we see Lucy leaves the nail salon and goes to Sunny's unannounced and is like, hey, Sunny, sorry, let me like kick Alexis out. She was leaving anyway, but she like rushed out of there.
I like Alexis leaving, going ta-ta-ta.
She's like, I just need to get out of here. And Lucy's like, okay, Sunny, so I've decided that you need to take care of Sidwell because he crossed me for the last time. And Sunny's like, what are you talking about? You're in business with him for deception. You can't just get rid of him. And she's like, well, he's using deception's name to do things he shouldn't be doing. So I want that to stop. And he's like, and how do you even know that? And she's like, I just think so. And why'd you sell your peers to him for so cheap? And Sunny's like, I didn't. I made money off of it. What are you doing? You can't mess with this man over the fact that he was flirting with Ava instead of you. And I don't really even think that Jenz was flirting with Ava as much. Like in all their interactions, it did seem about art. Like he seems like a flirty guy, but it seemed about art was the main
but
purpose.
That's exactly it. He has a very, I wouldn't even call him flirting with Ava. He just has a presence about the way that he talks about things. Like he's very passionate about things. And I think he truly does appreciate it. And so when he starts talking about it, his passion comes out about it. And it's not, of course, he's going to appreciate the fact that Ava's gorgeous, but I think it might be like a two-way street where they're like maybe subconsciously trying to one up each other on, okay, how much can I get? He's like, how much of a discount can I get? And she's like, okay, cool. How much can I sell you? You know, like that kind of a thing going back and forth. But yeah, I don't think it's a romantic, unless he's intentionally doing it just to make Lucy mad. But like, I mean, is this where we need Kim? Like, we'll hurry up and do Phase On and then get on to Lucy? Because I don't remember Lucy getting dumped and immediately going to killing someone.
No. And so then she decides that because Sunny can't help her, won't help her, that she's going to figure out her own way of getting back at Jenz. And so she shows up at his house and is like, oh, I'm so sorry that I told you that you needed to make a choice. I'm sorry, but no self-respecting woman is going back to some man after she told him to make a choice and he didn't choose her and being like, oh, I shouldn't have asked you to make that choice. And sure as heck not Lucy Coe. Okay? Not happening.
Right.
And so then he's like, oh, of course, we have some things to catch up on. Meanwhile, you just like air quote broke up a few hours ago, a few days at most, but okay. They have some things to catch up on. And so then he invites her out to dinner. And then he shows up at the Crimson offices looking for Ava. And Lucy's perfectly fine with, oh, they happen to have a table for 3 up at the... What?
No.
Like, what? It was just so gross. And I want Ava to be the one to be like, listen, I don't know what's going on with you guys, but when a man wants to entertain me, he wants to entertain only me. Thank you. Whether it's to talk about art or for something else, I'm the center of attention. That's it. I'm Ava Jerome. Thanks.
Yeah.
That better be what happens.
I agree. Like, there is nothing else to say. That is just, I don't know.
It's gross that Jenz would even try that, but if anything tipped Lucy's hand, the fact that she was willing to go for that is what did it.
Yeah.
Ugh, so gross. It doesn't really...
What else?
I guess we can rewind. Ava was at Nina's Nina and Willow have the same hairdresser, I think. Her hair looks super cute, but I was like, isn't that just the same cut that Willow had a few weeks ago? Just a little bit longer. Um, anyway, so Ava's showing up there to tell her how she now suddenly thinks she might have feelings for Jenz and what should she do about it. And I was waiting for Nina to be like, no, like she said, I haven't heard anything good about him. Just no, okay? There's enough bad guys in town. You don't need to hook up with him. Just leave him to Lucy. And then before that, Nina had walked in and thought that Jacinda and Michael were hooking up, but it turned out that he had just spilled his coffee and he needed a new shirt. And then Michael was just having polite, like, hey, I did this for the kids and Willow, so can you respect that and not cause any issues for Jacinda because we're all working together now?
Yeah.
I didn't get why Jacinda was so mad, though, that she hadn't heard about the custody thing. Like, if it had been weeks and weeks, okay, I would be angry, but a day or so, like Michael said, I was going to tell you tonight over dinner, like we were going to have a weekly
That's
catch
not a
up.
text.
Right, exactly. And let me explain to you what my thought process was. You know, like it's different. You call your sister and be like, oh, hey, I worked out a custody thing. You can say that one line to your sister. To your significant other, I feel like you go more in depth with what's going on.
Well, especially like a new significant other.
Right.
You know, it's like there's a lot more. I mean, I could probably text JD something right now and he'd be like, all right. Because he would already know like everything that led up to it. Like, and she does, but at the same time, she doesn't.
Exactly. So I was happy to see that she was quick to be like, yes, of course you can take me out to dinner and like get them back to joking around. Because if she was going to hold that grudge, I was going to be like, what is wrong with you? Who else? We're like going backwards.
I know we are. Well, so just touching on Liz again real quick. Well, I guess we could actually use her to go somewhere else too. When she was talking to Lucas, she said, love doesn't vanish because someone lies. It does because the love was based on lies. So therefore it wasn't really love because you weren't in love with the truth.
I can
She's
see
justifying her getting back with Rick.
I can see that. You know, I'm a queen justifier, so I'm with her though with the thought of you can't snap your fingers. Just because I find out tomorrow that you lied to me about something doesn't mean that I would be able to dismiss our friendship like that without trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? So I think that that's what she's saying. Like, it's not a cut and dry, oh, you lied to me, we're done. It's a
for who he is lie.
I mean, I agree, but it's hard to get your head and your heart to sync at the same time like that.
But she's justifying not trying to figure it out. She's justifying and just ignore it and stay with the love.
I mean, I agree. It's not the best advice, but it's Liz's advice. That's what she's done her whole life.
She shouldn't be having this advice yet.
That's true. That's true. He needs to talk to Marco first and take that information back to her before she can give any other advice.
All the details and be like, hey, by the way, this is what I overheard. What's going on? Because then if Marco comes clean with him, okay, you should have told me this stuff to begin with. And maybe it's like, you know, the whole omission is betrayal, but he also wasn't asking, hey, by the way, although he has asked if he is working for his dad, and he has been very blatantly told, no, I'm not. But I mean, he never said, hey, by the way, are you withholding medication from Britt?
Right.
You know, and Marco not being honest about why Pascal hates him or why Pascal's even there.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I really did not like when she said that, because also one of the huge things that she's fought with Lucky over is lies.
True, but
and they've had to work through them.
Yes, they've had to work through them, but knowing that Lucky lied didn't just remove her love for him.
She went and had babies with other men.
As an accident.
That's not a thing. No, that's not an accident.
Sometimes these things just happen, apparently.
No, they don't.
Ask Portia, it does.
Nope. And that's exactly where Liz was going to take us.
Oh my gosh. I don't understand. I mean, I guess good for them for being way more mature than I could ever be, but I don't understand how she decides on a whim after Curtis had laid into her that she's going to get a paternity test. She asks Britt right this second, hey, do you have any open appointments? Cool. I want to
Well,
do a
because
paternity
Liz told
test.
her, you've been super stressed about this. Don't you think maybe you should get it done because you've been stressed?
Hey, yeah, but realistically, it still doesn't happen same day, even if you work in a hospital. Like, come on. That just like shows
See, I have zero clue
Portia's
because I mean,
privilege with
I know
that.
that they've improved, but like, can you get a same day paternity test with a
I don't know if you can get a same
swab?
day paternity test because I haven't done a paternity test in 28 years. But um getting a same day appointment and getting all of that done. Like the fact that Britt was open, the lab was open to run it. Like I just that's not happening, I feel like, on a normal day. But anyway, she was
Especially where
able.
she's not chief of staff anymore, that she can't be like, hey,
Right. But she decides, Britt says, yes, she has an opening. So she goes ahead and gives her sample. Then she calls up Isaiah and is like, hey, since you're at work today, can you let them swab you? Because I'm trying to do a paternity test. And he's like, yeah, sure. So then she calls Curtis and is like, hey, by the way, we're going to run that test now. And Trina, like, I wouldn't have called Trina. I just wouldn't have. And then everybody shows
doesn't
up.
actually care about her daughter's feelings.
That's just so weird. Like, why would you have your daughter there for that? And then they all just sit there together and wait. And then she gets the results. And she's like, she doesn't even address the men, really. She addresses Trina and is like, you and the baby have the same dad. I was like,
Right.
what?
Well, and then she was talking about, Trina's already upset about her parents splitting up. You mean the second time? The second set of parents?
Right. Right. I was so annoyed whenever she
We're just
said
like
that.
completely ignoring. We're acting like she and Taggart were not married. We're acting like he did not raise Trina.
Mm-hmm.
We're acting
And
like,
her and Curtis had been together for the past 20 years and just broke up the
right,
other day, and Trina's devastated. We've said it
right.
before. It's obnoxious. It's the same way that Alexis talks about raising Sam. No, you didn't. Stop saying that. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, yeah, I felt bad for Isaiah, and he was just like, I'll leave you guys to figure it out, and walks away. And then she goes to Isaiah and is like, oh, I really wanted you to be the dad. And he's like, well, I'll love the baby anyway because it's yours. And then she starts talking about how she doesn't have to worry about Jordan being involved very long because Curtis and her will never stay together. And I'm like, you're just ridiculous. You who just had to have a paternity test should not be sitting here talking about other people's relationships and how they're going to last or not last.
And there's nothing wrong with Jordan other than the fact you don't like her.
Right.
It's, oh yes, that's right. A judge is definitely going to be like, yeah, so the former police commissioner, the former deputy mayor who has not ever been involved in a scandal other than the fact that she worked undercover for Cyrus Renault while she was part of the DEA.
Right.
Yes, is it questionable right now that she's working for Sidwell? Sure. But then when it comes out that, oh, do you think in situations like that, if somebody's working undercover and it's being called into question, that the person who's being called into question, so let's say Portia tries to say, but she's working for Sidwell and I don't want my baby around that, whatever. Could Jordan go to the judge and be like, here's the deal. I'm working kind of undercover for the mayor to figure out what's going on with Sidwell. And the judge just has to keep hush about it
I don't know.
because she's not doing anything illegal. She has
Right.
a questionable job, but she's a CFO for his company.
Right. I was going to say, I feel like then it's not a questionable job because she's the CFO of his, what is supposed to be a legitimate business. It would be
Yeah, but
like,
that's where the money laundering comes in.
yeah, but no one's supposed to know that. It's like saying that you work for Sonny's coffee business. It's a
Right.
legit business. So
Right.
I don't know how it would come into play, but regardless, there's not going to be anything that a court's going to do to try to keep Curtis from having that baby around whoever he wants to have the baby around. And I'm glad that he went straight for that and was like, you know what, before the baby gets here and we're in a good space right now, can we just get some stuff drawn up for visitation and custody and everything and be done with it, because I don't want to have any back and forth once the kid gets here. And she agreed, so we'll see.
Yep.
And she better stick to it.
But then Trina goes to Ava. And
Yes.
I understood where Ava was coming from. However, she needed to leave it at. So basically, Trina was saying she's considering going no contact with Ava or Portia.
Mm-hmm.
And Ava was like, you need to really consider this and tell her that, make sure that she's certain that it's the right thing to do because, she did that with Kiki and she regrets it. Yes, because that was your child and you were the parent, Ava.
Right.
You made a childish decision.
Right.
Regarding your own child.
Yeah.
Kiki didn't cut her off.
Right.
Right? Kiki didn't cut her off. She was obviously mad when her mom did, but Ava responded poorly to her daughter stealing her boyfriend, which is just a whole other conversation we shouldn't even be having. But
no, I agree. She should have.
Trina should not be treated this way by her mother, even though she's an adult.
Yeah. I think her advice should have been, even if she wanted to give Portia an excuse, her advice should have been, pregnant women are hormonal. Your mom's had a lot going on.
Right.
This is, whether she was in the right or wrong, this whole debacle was a lot of stress on her. So why don't you take a step back? You can minimize your interaction with her. And then once she has the baby and she's had some time to let her hormones mellow out and get life, regular again, you can reassess. If she's still acting crazy and pulling all these stunts and acting like the child more than the mother, then yeah, you don't need to have any contact with her. But if she stands up and starts acting like a mom, then you don't need to cut her off. Instead, it was kind of like
Trina knows she hasn't been doing it for the past 22 years. She's not going to start now.
I agree. But Ava did kind of just give her the excuse of, well, that's your mom, so you have to kind of put up with it forever.
Nope.
So that's a whole nother podcast.
But so the only thing we saw with Jordan and Curtis, which whatever, Sidwell wants Jordan to find out why Wyndemere is the only place that lost power.
Yeah.
She's going to call Brick.
Absolutely.
And Brick is going to figure it out and be like, wait a second. Joss was asking about how you turn off power just to Wyndemere. Oh, but Joss went and saw Jason and gave him the cigars and told him everything. And they put together because she told him that Cullum went to see her mom, right? And that Cullum is working on. She told him that Cullum went to see Brennan.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said Cullum is working with Sidwell on Faison's final project. And he is working with Sidwell. He's not just. I think Jason didn't know that Cullum was WSB and Joss didn't know that Cullum was working with Sidwell.
Right.
And so they put those together this week. Kind of really like that.
Yes. Jason was all about, we're not telling the WSB anything this week because he had the conversation with Joss about, okay, whatever you know about Cullum and anything going on with Anna and whatever, we're not reporting back to Brennan. And then he had the conversation with Felicia about whatever we know about what's going on with Anna, we're not taking back to Brennan or Cullum. They are bad guys.
Anna's message to him through Felicia.
Yes. Yes, she was like, Anna seems to think you're the only one that can rescue her. And so you should take this information to Brennan. And he was like, oh, absolutely not. That's not happening.
Yep. So Joss was reading the crystalline experience conspiracy. What am I saying? Experience. Because it's the Alpine Express. Okay. I'm like, I know that I'm getting this somewhere. So the inside jacket.
Oh, geez.
And this is the best that I could piece it together. Inspired by the thrilling spy stories he read at a young age, P.K. Sinclair picked up the typewriter with high hopes of making his own mark on the genre. Besides his work as a novelist, Sinclair is something of a Renaissance man. He has studied and worked extensively in numerous fields, including chemistry, engineering, and medicine. Citizen of the world, Sinclair does not stay in one place for long. While his home nation of Denmark will always hold a special place in his heart, Sinclair has resided in dozens of major cities, Paris, Budapest, Marrakesh, and numerous others. I wonder if that book, Budapest Crossing, has anything to do with him. And then, whether traveling the world or penning his latest novel, one will probably find him in the nearest smoking lounge. Mr. Sinclair's passion for cigars is so deep, he is known for stocking up on his favorite brands from countries like Cuba or the Dominican Republic.
Oh, nice.
Now that intern needs to be hired.
Yes. That was a good job. That intern was probably like 400 years ago, though, because that's probably that same book that they used back in the 80s.
Oh, but that's the thing, is that it's not a real book.
I know, but they made the
Like, did
prop,
they
I
actually have
bet.
the inside jacket? Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. So,
I don't know.
I liked Trina walking in on Joss after she had talked to Jason and being like, "What are you smoking?" And Joss being like, "No, that's not what this is. I mean, that is what it is. But that's not what this is."
Oh, but she blames her having the cigars on
Her partner,
her study partner, and he left so he could go home and smoke them, but left them at the apartment. And Trina didn't question that.
Right. And then she moved on to, "So did you wash my sheets?" And Trina was like, "Oh yeah, let me tell you all about my mom drama."
Yeah.
So I do like their friendship, though. I like that they've continued to be there for each other whenever it comes to all that family stuff and can talk it through.
Yep. Oh, well, I guess still kind of along the same lines. Dante went to see Brennan and wants answers. And Brennan says that he can't get answers either, because that's when Dante walked in, because Cullum had gone to see Brennan and said that Anna was in the mental hospital. She had a breakdown. She went rogue in the field. She refused WSB protection. She deserted her post and initiated an unauthorized operation. And Brennan was like, no, she didn't. And
Right,
Cullum just said,
exactly.
yeah, now she's paying the price. And Brennan was just, no, Anna doesn't crack. And that's basically what Valentin said too. When Carly said Anna had a mental breakdown, he's like, no, she didn't.
Yeah.
But Dante walked in on Brennan trying to find information about Anna. And so Brennan's like, I can't get answers. And he said something about Anna being on an assignment. And Brennan was like, but she wasn't.
Right.
So
yeah, I liked that they're finally coming together, because they were like, okay, we're going to have a conversation. Whatever happens in this room stays in this room. And Dante even protected himself. He was like, I mean, if you tell me something really good, I'm going to have to just not say the source, but I still have to explore it. And he's like, all right, that's as good as we're going to get, I guess. And so then they started discussing all of how this doesn't make any sense, because Anna shouldn't have been on an assignment. So,
yep. And then Emma went and told Gio that she's leaving to go tell Robin in person.
yes.
About Anna, and Robert's going to be there.
Yeah. I just want them to get through this storyline so that they can.
He is not losing to Faison.
No, that's what I'm saying. They need to get through this storyline with whatever they're doing, and then he can pass away. I do not want it to be any part of Faison. But then Emma says, sorry, I have to leave. And Gio's like, well, I could come with you. And she's like, no, I'm sorry. I have to do this on my own, for my own family, but I'll be back. And then, it was so sweet. Then he goes back to the Quartermains and sees Bailey Lou with Brooklyn, and he knows all her favorite everything. And he is like the best big brother kind of person.
But wait
ever.
A second. Is her favorite color cheese or white? Because he said, oh, you're wearing your favorite color. And Brooklyn says, oh, you know her favorite color. And he said, yeah, her favorite pizza topping, cheese. Her favorite food, mac and cheese. Her favorite snack, string cheese. So I'm like, are you saying it's white then?
I wasn't
it'd be like
attention to what color she was wearing.
I'm like, okay, so her favorite drink, milk. Throw that in there too. Her favorite sweet treat is marshmallows. Okay, then these are all white things, but you just named cheese.
She really likes cheese. There's nothing wrong with that.
Cheese is not a color.
It's not a color. Whatever color she was wearing must have been her favorite color, but
it was white though. That's why I'm asking. I'm like, so is it white or is it cheese?
It's white cheese.
Is it just mozzarella?
There you go.
Like, does she does not like yellow Kraft mac and cheese? She only likes the white cheddar?
Sure. She has a very sophisticated palate, okay? That's how it goes. But anyway, he was adorable, just adorable.
It was sweet, yes.
And that worked into the fact that Chase and Brooklyn had just talked about how cute she was, and Chase had made a comment about starting a family, and Brooklyn still kind of had that look. And so it was like, oh, that's nice. We see that Gio loves the little kids, so it would be okay if they ended up adopting a little kid. And then he opens up to her about the fact that he wanted to go with Emma, and that Emma was like, no, you can't do that right now, and all of that stuff. So, and reminisced about her babysitting him.
Yeah. And his favorite color is cheese too. But Chase was dressed in his first day back as a cop, and he got called into Dante's office. Oh, because Laura and Mac told Dante at the beginning of the week about Anna's breakdown and offered him the police commissioner position. And okay, why is Dante so surprised? Even if Nathan was not Faison's son, but he's like, but Faison can't be alive. But Faison can't be, dude. Your old partner just came back to life.
Right.
But I did like that we addressed the fact that Mac also should have had a bid on being commissioner. Yeah. And he said, I can't do it. Half my life is split between here and Boston to be with Maxie. And Dante's like, yeah, I have a lot of commitments too. What do you have going on, Dante?
Right, exactly.
What are your commitments?
Yeah.
But then I don't know why. I just started crying whenever Mac was talking about how he like has to be there for Maxie, and like it's killing him to hear about Anna being this way. And
the fact that she
Laura like tells him like it's okay that you can't. Yeah, that it was the best thing that he had the honor and privilege of raising Robin, and even though Jason dating her is why he has gray hair, even though that was 20 years ago. Mac did not have gray hair then.
That was so cute though.
But man, is that going to be hard with Robert.
Yeah.
And then Laura's like, yeah, the one that takes care of everyone doesn't get a chance to have a breakdown themselves. And I guess they actually offered, did we see them actually offer Dante the position?
They did, because then he said he needed to think about it.
Right.
Yeah.
But he had to think about it. Did he then?
I don't think if we saw him officially accept it. Yeah.
Okay. Until he was behind the desk and called Chase in and was like, so I need to know that you can take orders from me.
Right.
And not go rogue. And
Chase is sitting there saying, yes, of course. But in his head, it's flashing back to whenever he's setting Michael up with that darn key.
Yep.
I cannot wait for James to be like, or Wiley to be like, no, that's not what happened. I saw him with the keys.
Yep.
So frustrating. Oh, before we finish with
there's a couple things.
Big stuff. At the nail parlor was Christina and Molly talking about the book, and that Cody was still upset about it. And Christina was just like flippant about it at first, because she was like, I mean, you wrote it to get it published, so it's fine. And Molly was like, no.
I read it. I decided the world needs to see it. Sure. I'm going to do that with our text, Amanda. How's that?
Right?
Good God.
And that'd be a good book, but we might be in some trouble.
Not anything that we haven't really said on the podcast.
Sometimes I'm surprised we're not in trouble with that yet either. But yeah, she was just like, no, Christina, there was stuff that I may have wanted to change. And Christina's like, well, you can change it now. And she's like, no, now that the publisher got it, she doesn't want me to change anything. I have to keep it all the same how it is. And that includes the way that I wrote Cody, which I wouldn't have written and published like that. I would have changed it. And then right before that, we saw Cody trying to decode what she meant by, yes, that was him, but it wasn't him. And Tracy explaining it all to him, which I'll let you get into because your face just lights up whenever we say Tracy.
Just that he's reading Jane Austen, and I love Jane Austen, and he's reading Pride and Prejudice, and he's thinking about the fight, and Tracy walks in and is like giving him a hard time about reading a book, and he's like, oh, because you think I'm big and stupid. And she's like, no one said that but you. But she made a good point. She's like, I feel like I would see you reading. Oh, because then he closed the book, and she just starts laughing. And he's like, what? And she's like, I thought you'd be reading like Hemingway, not Austen. And she's like, or did you read a book club or lose a bet or something? And she made the parallels, and she's like, well, how far into Molly's book did you get? He's like, well, like 2 or 3 chapters. She's like, and how far did you get in Pride and Prejudice? He's like, about the same. She's like, oh my gosh, you need to go read these books and see how characters develop so that you can see, because she even said, like, the way that Molly wrote Casey is not necessarily you all the time. And like,
Right.
maybe, and she's like, Molly has been writing this over the past few months. That means she has been thinking about you past few months. So, like, spoiler alert, it ends in a love story.
Right.
And then she said that it was so sweet that he was willing to read the book and not watch the movie. And he didn't realize that there's like a million different Pride and Prejudices.
That was great because I felt like that would be me. Wait a minute, there's a movie? Why am I reading the whole book?
But that was just, oh, I loved it. I thought she was so sweet, and it was so sweet.
They are cute together. I just love the way that she is with him.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else, or are we?
Oh yeah, hold it. There's
Go ahead.
hold it. You really just asked, is there anything else?
Besides the main thing.
Okay, yeah, then yes. If I'm thinking you're the main thing is the same as me. Friday was the main thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So if your father were an international spy that's missing, and I'm gonna use the phrase allowed you to be on social media, you think you would not use your real name?
Right?
So Danny's scrolling on Charlotte Cassadine's
Yes.
social media, doesn't have a profile picture, so fair. So why does it not have? I wanted it so badly to be something cryptic, like Butterscotch or something like that, because that's her horse's name, or something like that, like Charlotte Butterscotch or something like that.
Right.
And she shared, okay, I have so many questions about this week. Is there a surfing league in New York that we're not aware of? Because the
Not
picture that she posted on her feed was of her surfing when things were warmer, when times were warmer, or like the weather was warmer, whatever.
I mean, maybe everyone goes to Jax's house and just surfs. I don't know why you think that's so crazy.
I feel like Valentin would have said, listen, if you're going to be on social media, you cannot be you. Like, you cannot have your name.
And I feel like she wants to be more sophisticated since she has been all over the world, that she would have come up with something like cute and clever. Like,
Right.
I would be using different languages and stuff to make myself
Right.
look more grown up and mature than just my name.
Yeah. She could have even just put ma petite,
Yeah.
and then you're like, okay, give me your phone. I will find, or like, give me your info. I will find you and tell you that this is me, like,
Yeah.
so I don't know. But so then Danny had Alexis come over
Yes.
and he asked about the genealogy.
For school. The same way that
For
Joss
school.
needed to know how to get electricity from Castine Island. They have a lot of interesting projects at school lately.
Yep. And she gives the breakdown. Oh, he's like, I tried to look online, but it gets really confusing. And so she says her dad was Mikos Cassadine, and he had two legitimate sons with Helena, Stavros, and Stefan. She was not. And Danny was surprised that she was illegitimate. And she said, yeah, my mom and dad were not married at the time, and he was married to the witch and then stopped.
Yes.
And then Danny slyly asks where Charlotte fell in all this. And she said that you have to go back to Mikos's father, Nikolai, who had three sons, Mikos, Anthony, and Victor.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked, well, wasn't Mikos Valentin's dad? And she's like, yeah, no, that was actually Victor. And Valentin thought that Mikos was his dad, but it was Victor. So the only ancestor that they share is Nikolai, the great-great-grandfather, who is Charlotte's great-grandfather, and he was born in St. Petersburg in 1852. And as though 175 years
makes all the difference.
Like that isn't there somebody's oldest grandchild, the last surviving grandson of the 10th president, John Tyler, just died last year. Grandson. He lived to be 96 years old, and he was the grandson of the president from 1840. I didn't remember which president it was. I just remembered that there was one.
I'm with you that they should not be dating because they are related. It doesn't matter how far back you go. But I felt So Alexis explains to him, and then Alexis calls Jason and then meets up with Jason at Sunny's and is like, hey, heads up, he seemed a little extra interested in how they line up. I'm not saying anything is or isn't happening. I'm just trying to give you the heads up that you might want to have a conversation with him. They're at that age, whatever. And Jason says, okay, I felt like their only issue was that Charlotte is a handful and that Danny is a handful. And so them together is going to cause lots of problems. I didn't think the problem was the fact that they were related.
See, I thought that Jason was kind of working on addressing that because Danny was talking about it. And he was kind of like, just keep going down that road. That's how I thought Jason was kind of handling the conversation. Was Danny was saying about how, and I talked to, because he came in all sly and was like, Grandma Alexis told me that you have questions about genealogy. He's like, nah, I can figure out the Quartermains. It's fine. And I don't know. Maybe I wasn't paying that much attention, but I thought that Jason was kind of more, keep going down that road, dude. Keep going down the road of, there is a relation, whatever. I only brought up the president thing just because I think it's pretty crazy that only last year, grandson of the 10th president died.
That is absolutely, absolutely crazy. But I just don't think that his family is looking at it the same way. And as much as I don't think that they should be dating, I want to see whenever someone tells him that and he turns around and says, okay, but what about my mom and Dante dating whenever they share siblings? And then everyone is just going to be like, you know what? Actually, you're fine. It's okay.
But Sam and Dante weren't related, even though they shared 2 siblings.
True.
I agree.
But ew.
I know. I don't know. But then also, do they just all delete their texts all the time? Because Danny texted Charlotte and there's no previous text. Like, come on. Right. Show us him sending her the picture of them getting the s'mores, whatever.
Right, exactly. Especially teenagers. They typically text a lot and aren't deleting things unless they said something they want their parents to see. It's on there.
Yeah. Because Danny told Jason that he kissed Charlotte and that he was interested in Charlotte's tree. So I guess that's where I was kind of thinking, like, Danny was kind of testing the waters of, so what are your thoughts? And okay, maybe Jason didn't say no, but also I didn't feel like Jason gave his blessing on sure.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know that he's giving his blessing on him dating anyone, even though we know that they're getting older. I don't know that they're ready for that. So,
although, kind of mad at Sunny talking to Alexis about how Alexis said something about, I think that we should talk to Willow about letting Danny see. That's who was saying that he was trouble, was Sunny, not Jason.
Right.
And I'm sorry, Sunny, are you going to go tell Jason that his son should not see his sister? Because you don't think that he's going to be able to pay attention to her because he's too busy with Charlotte? No, Danny would drop Charlotte in a second to see Scout.
Right.
Like, I thought that was so crummy of Sunny to say.
That definitely was, because that's just not how Danny is.
And especially to Alexis and not Jason.
Right.
Like, I could see Sunny saying, if it was Jason talking to Alexis, if like the 3 of them were there together and him saying, well, what do you think about, but even if Jason was the one that asked, I don't know. That just really, really bothered me that it was Sunny that said that.
Yeah.
Danny's a good brother.
He is. And a good friend. That's what Charlotte was sticking up for, because Valentin was yelling at her for sharing the fact that he was there with Danny. And she was like, but I can trust him. And he was like, you can't trust anybody. And she was like, no, we can't trust Nina. And that's why I was here. And he was like, no, you shouldn't be trusting anyone.
Yep. But then she told him why they can't trust Nina.
Right. Because she's using Brennan to keep Willow out of prison.
Yep.
So great.
It was comforting to hear him say that he was not going to reach out to Nina. And Charlotte did say, I told her we've been in contact, but I swear that's it, all that. But I felt like there was a little pain there when he found out that Nina betrayed Charlotte. It's the whole things didn't work out for them, but.
Right, because she was like her daughter, like we've talked about before. Right. There should have been loyalty there.
Yeah, absolutely. But Willow is her daughter.
Yeah.
So but one's a child.
Right, you shouldn't have to trade one daughter for the other, even if there's a technicality with it.
And that's the whole thing that I'm getting sick of with this whole Curtis thing, is he gets a second chance at being a father. No, you get one chance per child.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Having a second child does not replace what you missed out with on the first.
Exactly. And it was
And
all
thank you,
Portia's
Portia.
fault.
Exactly. Thank you, Portia. You're why he didn't get to be a dad.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So Nathan goes to Lulu for help with James's Valentine's party.
Oh, I was annoyed by that. That's why I didn't remember that, even though I did. Go ahead.
He really needs to watch the movie Bad Moms. Such a good movie.
It's such a good movie.
And after they went to the store and bought all the supplies, then we ask how many kids are in the class.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
And then they get everything together and they talk about their feelings for each other. And she's like, I can just picture my dad saying, "Cupcake, follow your heart." And in walks Brooklyn. Like,
Yep.
I loved it so much. And what she said to Lulu.
I love that she just didn't even give her the second of pretending. Like, he left and she was like, okay, Brooklyn. And Brooklyn was like, no, we're not doing this. Like, you tell me what's going on. And she's like, hey, I don't want to fight with you. And Brooklyn's like, exactly. So there is something going on, because it wouldn't be a fight if you could just look me in the face and be like, nothing's going on. Yeah. So I loved
She
Brooklyn.
called her out on, oh, funny, you now have a conscience about.
Yes.
It's funny. You did not care a single thing about any of this when it was my life you were blowing up.
Right. She's like, you have
not
a
even
conscience.
hers, Gio's.
Yeah, you have a conscience now that you want someone to respect your conscience now that it's yours that needs respected. Yeah. That was good. I do like the digs that Brooklyn gets in.
She's right.
She is.
But I was just, so meanwhile, in Boston, Felicia, James, and Georgie are giving Maxie like the pampering treatment.
Yep.
And then Felicia and Georgie step out and go sit in the hallway. And James is like, Mom, I've only been to the ER once since you've been in a coma. And it wasn't even that bad.
Right.
Madison asked to be his Valentine, but he said no because he loves her, Maxie, the best.
Mm-hmm.
And then Georgie's upset because of how James talks to Maxie, because he expects for Maxie to answer him, and she's just worried that she's not going to wake up and everything. Right. And so he's like, Mom, you need to, and then we go back in, James is talking to her, you have to come see me play hockey. And then we see Georgie go, and she's just crying to her. And she's like, Mom, I just need you to wake up. And then James is saying that, well, he was saying out in the hallway to Felicia that the kids at school want to meet his real dad, not like Spinelli's not my real dad. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I was happy that they clarified.
But then he said something about like he doesn't want to wear his helmet, and 6 months out of a coma, not a single IV in her arm,
right?
Not unable to walk at all.
Right.
Maxie
not even the oxygen marker thing on her finger. Like, maybe she didn't need IV fluids. I'm not sure how they were getting her nutrients, but okay, maybe she didn't need that. But you're going to tell me that someone who had a heart attack, they don't even have the oxygen thing on her?
Right. There's no beeping going on that, hey, this woman's blood pressure just changed and her pulse is going. And she gets in the doorway and says, James, Max, Malcolm, West, you will be wearing a helmet. And then she's awake. And then that was the end of Thursday. That was the end of Thursday. So then on Friday, she is talking to them and she's like, what? Do I have like bedhead? And so then they explain, like, no, you've literally been in a coma for 6 months. And Spinelli came and he had a box of pastries. And I so badly wanted him to have Mike's pastries. Like, that's a very popular place in Boston. And I'm like, why couldn't he have just said, and I got you a lobster tail from Mike's? That's it.
I'm sorry.
And like, and I mean, that's like, that is the name of the place, is Mike's Pastries, but it's such a generic, lobster tails are a thing. Mike's is a name. So you might not even have to pay a royalty to it. Okay. But Felicia tells her that she had a heart attack. And while the kids are in there talking to her, she and Spinelli are talking about, so how are we going to tell her that Nathan's alive? And so when Spinelli and Felicia go in and are talking to them, and he's like, James is telling her about his horseback riding lessons and says, yeah, I've been doing so well. Even Dad wants to go riding. And she looks right at Spinelli and is like, oh, is that true? And Spinelli just was like, mm-hmm. And then it it was a little cold how Felicia was like, all right, kids, you got a flight to catch.
Right. I know your mom just woke up, but you have a Valentine's Day party to get home to, so get out.
Right. It was not, hey guys, I know, but like Spinelli's going to take you home and, we have to clear stuff up with the doctors. We'll see what happens next. We'll get you out here as soon as possible again. But, you do have to go to school tomorrow. Still, I feel like that's an excused absence. That's just me.
Right.
But, so Felicia stays behind and Maxie said something about how it's great that now James is calling Spinelli dad, like so cash. Because I feel like it's almost like my kids though with JD. They call him JD, but they refer to him as dad. So I kind of felt like that's how James was because Georgie calls him dad and he lives with Georgie. So it's kind of like that. But Felicia just tore off that Band-Aid and was like, yeah, so when James is referring to dad, it's not saying Spinelli's not like his dad, but he's referring to Nathan because Nathan's alive.
Right. And I guess, yeah, Maxie needs a second to like compute that, but doesn't even go into like, is the darndest thing. Britt came back and then Nathan came back. Like, we're not sure what's going on. It was just like he magically fell out of the sky and now he's dad.
Right. And it's not like, yeah, Britt's been telling him how much he looks like his dad. No.
Nope.
No. It's just been,
here's your dad.
And I'm so mad that her doctor is not David Hayward.
I know. That was very disappointing. Very disappointing. And her doctor was not doing a very thorough job. Dr. Hayward would have done a great job. He came out
in 5 minutes. She was perfectly cleared for everything in 5 minutes.
She was perfectly cleared, but then they said something to him a little bit later, like, okay, so everything's like good, and he made that face like, oh, maybe not. And it was like, okay, which one is it, dude? She's in there again. No IV, no ox monitor, no nothing. But she's awake, and you're like, oh, I'm not sure that everything's good. What?
Well, especially where someone had a heart attack, wouldn't you worry about what you were going to say to the person?
Right?
Like, wouldn't you have cleared that by the doctor and be like, hey, by the way, can we give her some pretty shocking news? Like, yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. What is it? The kid lost a tooth. Right. Oh, no, her husband's back from the dead.
Might want to hold on to that for a few weeks. Let her make sure get those final blood tests we were doing back.
Crazy.
Oh, man. I want to go into a coma so that I can wake up looking that good. Like, all these people have these comas and they wake up, they look so well rested and their skin is all nice and smooth and their hair is all done and their makeup. I need a good coma.
And that we know of, Lulu did not pay the favor.
Nope. She was not going to Boston. She was doing the favor of taking care of the kids.
She was doing the favor of taking care of her ex-husband.
That was not nice. I knew you were going to say that.
That's what she's doing, though.
Wow. She didn't take care of him yet. She's just being tempted to take care of him.
She's thinking about taking care of him.
She is.
She's thinking about that more than she's thinking about taking care of Maxie.
I mean, she asked if Lulu had a nice day, so that was important.
After she got busted. So
I am glad that they didn't have them hook up until Maxie is awake, so that neither one of them can be like, we just got caught up in the moment. We never thought you were going to wake up. Like, now when you do it, it was a conscious effort, like conscious decision.
Yeah.
So
that was it, though. That was
a lot.
Heavy week. That was a lot.
Reality check. My week was pretty boring since that rolls us into reality check. The kids were off Monday. They called it a teacher in service day, but I think it was obviously perfectly placed because of the Super Bowl. So I worked. Madeline went with me, and then she was sick Tuesday and Wednesday, and then she decided to share her illness with me. So I was sick with her. So we just laid around and snuggled all week as we sat here feeling like we were dying together. And she's better, and now with her dad for the weekend. I still don't feel 100%. It's like a weird stomach bug, but it just like won't go away. Like, I don't know. Just like stomach ache, not even like, luckily none of the gross stuff that goes with that. Just like, ow, my stomach hurts, but it will not stop hurting. So I'm like lightheaded and like just blah feeling. So
well, that's not good. You can stay home.
Right, exactly. So I just kept yelling at her all week, why did you share this with me? She was like, I didn't mean to. And I was like, well, you're better and I'm not. This is not fair. So, but besides that, yeah, we're boring. No big Valentine's Day plans or anything. Just gonna be boring.
We don't have any big plans either. I have showings and we'll see what happens after showings.
I feel like that's the way that it is. Once you're older, I actually saw a meme that said, this is not very nice, but that said, if you get a date on the 13th, then you're the side chick. And if you get a date on the 14th, you're the girlfriend. And if you don't get a date at all, you're the wife. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of how it is. Like, just because it never gets planned.
I just feel like, so even though the kids are older, like they still go with their dad every other weekend and they're home with us this weekend. And so we do stuff together. Like we're not going to, like JD and I aren't just going to go out, but also like I think sometimes our situation's a little bit different just because like we call it our anniversary. It's like he gave the kids gifts when we got married. So it's like,
yeah,
like we celebrate our anniversary, the four of us, because it's our anniversary.
Yeah, that's how we used to do it back in the day too.
Yeah, but this week sucked. I found out Saturday that really, really, really good friend of mine passed away of a massive heart attack. And nothing still has, he was in Florida.
Oh.
So there's some delay in getting stuff set up at home. So no arrangements have been made yet. So it's just like being stuck in limbo, and today's his birthday. So a bunch of us got together and had dinner and just like celebrated him and, shared memories and stuff, but it was not fun. And I just worked a lot. And I guess good news is my daughter had an interview for an independent living pilot program through one of our service providers. So they've been in the process of building this center for training like independent living and stuff. Well, the center's not going to open until like the fall. But right now they're basically doing like a pilot program of the curriculum. And so they're going to do 12 weeks. Like Monday is going to be a 2-hour group session and they'll learn a certain skill. And then they have to go home and practice it. And then they have to meet with somebody one-on-one for an hour and demonstrate what they learned with the skill and get like either additional feedback or additional help or like identify what they need. So things like transportation, grocery shopping, money, personal finance. And my question, I was like, so are we going to have like additional programs after this for things like, personal finance that are going to be ongoing so that, because I mean, I'm trying really hard to teach her finance, but it would also really help to have other people supporting and being like, yeah, your mom's not crazy. She's trying to get you to understand, yes, you have the money and yes, you can spend it, but you also need to make good decisions.
Right.
So, and just things like that. So it's going to be, I don't know when we find out because they're doing interviews. They started them last night, Thursday, and I think they're having them through Monday, but the first session will be the 23rd. So, I mean, we're going to find out relatively quickly. So I think she probably did fine, but
I mean, it sounds like a great program. So hopefully she gets in it. Every little bit helps.
Yep. And she can do it as many times as she wants. So like, even if she does this, it doesn't keep her from being eligible in the future to do other ones, especially where this is like the pilot program.
Oh, nice.
She's the guinea pig. So although she and I had a good conversation about that phrase this week, because she was like, what's a guinea pig? She knows what a guinea pig is, but she's like, why are you saying that? Like, why do you say like, I'm a guinea pig? And I was like, oh my gosh, it actually refers to animal testing. I'm like, okay, we need to come up with a new phrase for what that means. Because I said, basically it means that they're going to try something new out on you and see how it goes. And then we got into that conversation a little bit. So, but not too much because I also don't want her Googling and looking at stuff.
Oh, right.
But it's funny because there's a lot of things. I think I talked about this a couple weeks ago. Gosh, feels like a couple weeks ago. And I feel like it was so much longer. Just like the phrase, play it by ear.
Right.
And we were talking about something and she's like, what do you mean? And I don't think it's like, I think she's finally starting to ask questions about phrases like that I just assumed because she never asked anything, she knew what they meant.
Yeah.
So like when I explained that, I was like, well, it means we'll see, which is what your ears don't do. So it's just, it's so interesting to have to think about things like that you just don't typically have to think about. But yeah, so I guess it's been a complete 180 week. So I just hope that this upcoming week we hopefully get some closure.
Yeah.
I guess is the best way to see that. So, and that was hard because on Facebook, a lot of people don't know yet. And so today was his birthday. And so people were posting on it. And some people did know and were happy heavenly birthday. And I'm like, the family has not announced it. There's not even an obituary yet.
Oh,
man. That's why I think that we're definitely going to have services, is because there has not been an obituary yet. Because typically the service stuff is in an obit. So if there wasn't going to be anything, I feel like we would have already had an obituary.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So I'm just going to throw this out there until the family posts something.
Right.
Don't.
Right.
You know, like that's just not cool. So there's my little PSA.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a delight today.
That's
So I guess join us on Thursday as we continue Phase On. I'm saying it like French now.
Yes, you are. You're Valentin now saying it.
Oh, we didn't talk about him and Carly. They actually had like a cute little couple this week.
No.
But yeah.
No, they shared a drink, period.
Join us on Thursday as we talk about 90 and 92, 91 and 92. Cesar Phase On.
Have a good week.
And we'll meet you at the pier.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to peer54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review. And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Peer54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at peer54podcast@gmail.com.